News Center 25, your hometown news. With Jonathan McCall, Rissa Shaw. Weather with Chief Meteorologist Bill Alexander. Sports with Don Brubaker.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jonathan McCall.
And I'm Rissa Shaw. Thanks for joining us for News Center 25 at 10.
Tonight, Victoria Police hoping to put the brakes on drivers who are putting too much pedal to the metal by rolling out a number of new plans.
Police say in recent months they've written hundreds of tickets to drivers who have a lead foot while behind the wheel. During tonight's City Council meeting, Victoria's police chief presented a plan on how to battle speeding and where the hot spots are.
That's right. News Center 25 is live tonight with those details. Nicole Hickel at one of those speeder hot spots right now with what's next to curb the problem. Nicole. Meanwhile, switching gears, new tonight, 10 o'clock, a Beeville man has now been arrested and charged in a gruesome weekend murder there. 24-year-old Mark Pillow is now charged with arson and murder. Beeville police tell News Center 25 Pillow is suspected in the murder of 65-year-old Dorothy Pillow. Dorothy Pillow's body was discovered inside of her burning home Saturday afternoon. An autopsy showed that Dorothy Pillow sustained several wounds to her body with some unknown object. Mark Pillow was arrested Sunday on an unrelated drug charge, but is now behind bars on a $3 million bond for those murder and arson charges. Soon, workers in one South Texas town will be packing more than just their lunch on the job. Last night, the Aransas Pass City Council passed an ordinance that allows city workers to carry guns while on the clock. Workers packing heat will have to carry a concealed weapons license and also be approved by city leaders. Those changes go into effect in August. The boom from the Eagle Ford Shale has flowed billions of dollars into the Crossroads economy, revitalizing a number of towns. While schools should be gushing over the added revenue, a state law could have them sing a bust. Starting next year, a number of Crossroads school districts will be required to give back money to the state's poor school districts under the controversial Robin Hood plan. Cuero ISD will be one of those school districts joining the richer ranks, but district leaders we spoke with say it will actually force them to work with an even smaller budget, which could lead to cuts and even layoffs. Falls City, Kennedy, Moulton, Runge, Shiner, and Warden are just some of the areas in the Crossroads that will switch over to that richer school status thanks to the oil boom. Haley says more students would have to enroll in Cuero schools for the district to receive more money from the state. You may remember just earlier this year, a Texas judge ruled that the funding formula used by the state for Texas public schools was unconstitutional. That case now heads to the Texas Supreme Court. Tonight, investigators looking into last month's deadly explosion at the West Fertilizer plant say they're now looking to reconstruct as much of the plant as possible. Investigators say they'll be using aerial pictures to compare the plant before and after the deadly blast. Officials say they continue to dig for any clues about what started the fire at the plant last month. Yesterday, officials, you may remember, said the amount of chemicals stored at the plant triggered the explosion that killed 15 people. Officials say it will be longer than expected before they can actually figure out what started the fire at the plant. Ahead tonight on News Center 25 at 10 o'clock, we continue to follow the latest information on an amazing story from Cleveland, Ohio, of 3 women found inside of a basement after nearly a decade in captivity. The details after the break.
It's a story that continues to gain worldwide attention. 3 women missing for nearly a decade found at the bottom of a Cleveland basement being held against their will.
That's right. We first told you about the story last night at 10 o'clock as breaking news. Tonight, the investigation into that house of horrors is now underway. 3 brothers now behind bars, I should say, as those 3 women look to regain their lives nearly a decade later.
ABC's Andy Rosegan has the latest development from Cleveland.
Deliberations have wrapped up for a second full day in the murder trial of Jodi Arias. Arias is charged with first-degree murder in the 2008 death of her boyfriend Travis Alexander. He was found shot in the head and stabbed nearly 30 times in his Phoenix home. Prosecutors say Arias planned the attack in a jealous rage. She initially blamed the murder on intruders, but later changed her story to say it was self-defense. Jurors could also convict Arias of second-degree murder or even manslaughter. Tonight, the Pentagon looking for new ways to tackle the rising number of sexual assault cases in the ranks. A new Pentagon report shows more than 70 new sexual assault cases are being reported every day to the Pentagon. The alarming stat comes just days after an Air Force officer tasked with preventing sexual assaults was himself arrested and charged with sexual battery. Lieutenant Colonel Jeff Krasinski was arrested Saturday after grabbing a woman's private areas near the Pentagon. Krasinski will be arraigned, I should say, in a Virginia court on Thursday. 3,400 sexual assault cases were reported in the military just last year. That's up 6% from 2011. Military officials believe sexual assaults go unreported and the number of cases could actually be higher than estimated. Meanwhile, as many as 19 people are dead after a gas tanker explosion today in Mexico City. Early reports say the tanker lost control, crashed into several homes and cars before bursting into flames. The powerful blast destroyed as many as 20 homes and burned as many as 15 cars. Tonight, that crash remains under investigation. Meanwhile, remember that deadly building collapse in Bangladesh a few weeks ago? Well, get this, crews continue to retrieve bodies from the rubble and the wreckage. The death toll has now topped 700. Workers in Bangladesh now calling on the government to provide better working conditions to those garment workers. The owners of the building have since been arrested after ignoring an order to close the building because of major structural damage. All right, once again, just wring out every drop we can get. We desperately
need it.
Yeah, and the good news is we'll see some more return Monday into Tuesday.
All right, if you're headed out to the polls Saturday, make sure you carry those umbrellas.
Yes.
Don't let it stop you.
Yeah, that's true.
And the rubber duckies.
And the rubber duckies, too. All right, Bill, thanks so much. Meanwhile, investors definitely going to bed happy tonight after another record day on Wall Street. The Dow hit an all-time high today and closed above the 15,000 mark also for the very first time. The Dow is now up, get this, 130% since hitting rock bottom back in March of 2009. We're going to put this in real terms for you. If you invested about $10,000 during the worst of the Great Recession, you'd more than doubled your money to almost $23,000 today. The winning streak on Wall Street is now over 4 years long. That means this bull market is about 6 months longer than normal, but it's still about 5 years shorter than the best run ever. All right, so we all know alcohol can make any situation out of control, but one Oklahoma man's inebriated idea now has him on ice.
A potential joyride landed him in jail. 24-year-old Spencer Holt is accused of trying to steal a Zamboni while drunk. There can't be any other way. Authorities say Holt broke into the Cox Convention Center in Oklahoma City Saturday night. He attempted to take off on the Zamboni, but couldn't get the ice-smoothing vehicle out of the building. Security guards caught up with him.
This is why you shouldn't drink and do things, because you can mess up your life doing that sort of stuff.
He was arrested and is facing charges of destruction of private property and public drunkenness.
He said it right there. Lay off the booze.
That's got to be kind of fun, though, trying to get on a Zamboni.
I wonder what would have happened had he gotten out of the convention center with it and maybe like
probably face more charges, ruin his life a little bit more, but at least he probably had a good time.
Here's the thing, I was actually hoping there would be like a low speed or a high speed chase with the Zamboni with him going down the street.
Oh gosh, that'd be a great video. Us news people wish for that stuff.
All right, stay with us, everyone. Travis is up next with sports.